skill-based games. Everybody knows them, everybody loves them, until they suck at it. These games come with a healthy helping of pain and suffering. Also, restarts. Lots of restarts. Along with that horrible time comes the reason I personally play these games. The absolute undeniable high granted from overcoming an immense challenge. It is the quickest rebound from I hate this game to this is my favorite experience of all time. And the most recent example of this I experienced was Sifu. And holy hell, it has become my new favorite. Sifu is a difficult action-packed brawler that is all about martial arts. It has a pretty interesting story as well, about a boy out to avenge his father's lacking of a pulse and remove all who were involved. To help him on his journey, he has 8 years of martial arts training, and a gift that introduces the game's unique gimmick. Should the fat lady sing at any point throughout the levels, you can choose to rise again and temporarily cheat losing all your HP. However, in doing so, your character shaves years off his lifespan and rapidly ages. This aging is not just cosmetic either, as it can affect your health, damage, and even lock you out of certain upgrades. But what I really like is the gameplay loop. The combat in this game is much like Sekiro, but with a bit more depth and interwoven features. To start, everyone in the game has a stance meter and a health bar. If a health bar reaches 0, someone's giving the funeral home money. The real shit is stored in the stance meter. Blocking and parrying attacks will fill up your stance meter. If your stance meter breaks, then you become extremely vulnerable. This can be avoided by either parrying, as parrying can fill the bar but will never let it break, or dodging in place, since that reduces your stance meter when you successfully dodge an attack. Now, your opponent's stance meter functions a little differently. Their stance meter builds up from either you beating their ass, or successfully parrying an attack of theirs. Successfully breaking their stance meter leaves them open for a finishing blow. Sorry about the immense amount of words, here's a picture of a dog. Anyway, these systems in place make the game incredibly rewarding for good offensive play and good defensive play. Successfully defending against attacks does not just let you live to see another fight, but actively pushes you towards defeating the opponent. Along with that, you have the ability to dodge attacks to lower your stance meter and easily deal with multiple enemies at a time. With all the technical stuff out of the way, let's really get into this game. The start of the game has us playing as Yang. Yang is storming, somewhere, to redact an old man by the name of Sifu. This opening not only teaches us all the basic mechanics I talked about before, but gives us the Force Unleashed treatment and gives us every upgrade for the prologue. Really wish games would do this more often. Yang succeeds with my help, and then a young main character felt so left out of the fun, Jafar redacted him as well. But I lived. Intro sequence later, and MC has grown into a young man with a simple goal. Return the favor. The first target being Jafar. More mechanics are taught, more experience is gained, and I died. But I lived. So far I'd been having a lot of fun, but something was nagging at me. You see, I am foolish enough to decide I have something to prove to myself and prefer playing games on the harder difficulties for no good reason. For this game, I had made an exception. I then decided, I've played Sekiro, I've parried Ishin the Block Saint, I know how to parry. Anyway, I am now playing on Master Mode, and it hurts. After learning my lesson and doubling down on stupidity, I finally made it to the end of the level, and get folded like laundry. This is Jafar, and he is here to teach us a few important lessons. The first lesson is that parrying is a good way to slowly build a boss's stance meter. The second is that dodging can leave an enemy open to attack when parrying would not. The third lesson is leg sweeps are crazy effective against both me and the enemies. The fourth one is more than jumpings are taken from JJK. Domain expansion. Vietnam. Through many tries, I finally beat the first level.
I have spent 8 long years preparing for this.
And have to do it all over again. You see, Sifu's death system follows you throughout every level. So, unless you want to have 1 or 2 lives for the rest of the game, you better try to master the previous level and clear it with as few deaths as possible. There. After way too long, I can finally play level 2. The club. This level is much like level 1 in the sense that you get your ass beat until you don't. But some enemies become a real nuisance right around here. Every now and then when performing a finisher on an opponent, they may think they're the main character and get a second health bar. These Super Saiyans start out as a fun surprise and quickly turn into I hate these things. Good news is they can only turn Super Saiyan from a finisher. Skip the cinematic, make their HP 0. Anyway, to get to the future Coffin Enjoyer, we have to throw hands with everyone we see. This theme is very common. Afterwards, we find Sean. You know, you're real intimidating, and then I remember your name is Sean. He likes smoking, wearing bandages for aesthetics, and being strangely easy to beat. Don't get me wrong, he showed me what the death menu looked like plenty of times, but he was much easier for me to get the hang of than Jafar. Probably because he skipped the part about spamming leg sweeps. That, and he felt much easier to punish. By now, the way we play this game was starting to sink in. Parry to build up their stance, dodge attacks that can be punished, sweep, and spam your special moves whenever you get the chance. Special moves are basically cinematic attacks you can use whenever you want on an enemy to basically tell them to stop. Take this. So long as you have the meter for it, you can interrupt what any enemy is doing, gain immunity, force everyone to back off, and get a free hit, which leads to more free hits. It's basically the nuh-uh move whenever kids would play pretend. Nuh-uh, Jimmy, I smacked your eye, so you're stunned for 2 seconds. Sweet. For phase 2, this man decides to put out his cigarette by starting a forest fire. This is where Sean makes a fatal mistake, as Smokey the Bear is my idol, and if he wants to smoke, then he can catch mine.
Ranger's hat and shovel and a pair of dungarees. You will find him in the forest, always sniffing at the breeze. People stop and pay attention when he tells them to beware, 'cause everybody knows that he's the fire-preventing bear. Smokey the Bear, Smokey the Bear.
Now, a majority of my gameplay experience was spent on level 1 and 2, since those are the ones that teach you the fundamentals and make sure you understand it. However, now the jumpings are a tad bit more brutal. The museum is honestly a really cool level. I should have played it more. You're introduced to bladed weapons, and yeah, that's cool, but I really enjoyed using the stairs and exhibits as weapons. This game does an excellent job letting you use the environment and just absolutely displacing people to make fights as easy for you as possible. They're not being fair, why should I? Here's a knife to the back of the neck. This level is also a shining place where shortcuts really shine. A shortcut is as simple as that. A shortcut. Beat the right enemy and you get a key to open said shortcuts for future attempts. While this can save you some time and make sure you reach a boss with no previous deaths, it can also deny you the tiny upgrade statues. I didn't talk about those yet. Well, throughout the levels, you will find tiny upgrade statues. Depending on your level score, XP, or age, you will be allowed to select an upgrade that sticks with you for the rest of the run. Not just the level, the entire game. You are guaranteed one before every boss fight. They also heal you. What this means is that by taking the short and easy route, you may lack objective benefits for later fights. As a fan of poor decisions, I use the shortcuts at every chance I got. But first, I gotta earn them. Sacred Art, Blinding Light! Yeah, don't fuck with art majors. They're gonna do this shit to you. Yep. Oh! Thanks for the knife. Bro, where the fuck were all these art students hiding? I gotta know. He's too big for them to get. Ah! Cock punch! Cock punch! Yeah, no, because I. Oh. You're not real. She's devoted herself to art ever since because of her path of. Ah! The walls are jumping me! Die. Perish. Sweep. What the fuck? I'm so confused. This is Kuroki. She warned us that our quest for vengeance will end with pain or emptiness or something. She was right. However, I do not care for her. God, I hate this woman. Okay, she's tough. This fight sort of stumped me for a while, as I didn't really know what to do. Jafar and Sean didn't change too much from their second phase, and both had attacks that left noticeable openings for me. That woman is trying to be a blender on legs. This is when I had to make the tactical play of using strategy. She doesn't leave many openings. The stance damage done from parrying is substantial. I can pick up a weapon before the fight starts. Eureka! The strategy is simple. We fight the person who doesn't want to fight by not fighting. To say it properly, I'm going to rely almost entirely on weapon parries, and it worked pretty consistently. Despite the initial frustration with this fight, it was a nice change of pace to prioritize exclusively defense. In case you haven't gathered the context clues, this woman has an alternate personality that's just an edgy teenager. Initially, this fight also had me stumped. But I realized just how vulnerable my opponent really was. It turns out that she doesn't have a very good defense and can be punished quite easily, more so than every other boss.
This is your end.
My favorite part is when she throws knives at a long range and you can just catch them and throw it back. Now, we go from a place where artists' dreams are made to a place where dreams go to die. This office building, it's pretty nice. The staff even invite you inside for formal jumping instead of the barbaric assault I ended up giving them at the entrance. Jokes aside, that basically is the first half of this level. Formal jumping. It's pretty cool though. Look at this.
Squad 7 in the elevator.
That's pretty cool. This level also manages to have the craziest transition from a formal office building to Indiana Jones and the Tremors from the Abyss. We even get a lore dump here about something. I don't know, I didn't listen, nor do I care. At the bottom of the cavern, you meet Granny Jinfang. Granny Jinfang? Jinfang. Something really fun with this game's aging system is that being young gives you more health, while being old gives you more damage. Granny also mimics this style by one-comboing you. It hurts, but she is definitely the most frail boss. Look at that damage. You'd think that this makes her easy, and to an extent, it does. However, she does nothing but keeps you at range and domes you for attempting to get closer. It only takes one mistake to get sent another year into your life. She basically asks for the same defensive skill as the previous boss, but with the added fun of closing the distance before actually striking. Thankfully, we know how to do that already. The fifth level is really satisfying to reach. In a game that only comprises of 5 levels, it makes sense that each level is a tough, but rewarding challenge. Quality over quantity. It's a nice area with many narrative details, but I don't care about that. I'm here for the victory lap and to destroy that final boss. Now, every boss fight in the game can end in 2 ways. You could defeat the boss and ensure they push up daisies,
I have spent 8 long years preparing for this.
or you could spare the boss who sorta just gives up after you knock them down once when they use the opposite of anti-aging cream on you. To untie the boss's soul from the body, you just activate the finisher like with other enemies. But to spare the boss, you bring them to maximum stance, let them recover, then do it again. Thankfully, it's only a short extra bit of stance build-up, but it still takes some effort. While I have defeated every boss up until this point, I also went back and made sure to defeat them without a gravestone getting involved. Doing so grants you additional endings. So, that was my current end goal. Spare Yang.
Time has passed since the days I trained you. We were family. At least, that's what I believed. But then, during my darkest days, your father revealed his true self. He never cared about us. He cast me out. He abandoned us. Tell me, what would you do to save the people you love from the inevitable? Wouldn't you cross every line? Break every rule? Wouldn't you challenge death itself?
That's intimidating.
You want revenge, little brother?
Well, Jesus Christ. He's fast. He's relentless. He's using my own moves. His stance is recovering if I give him breathing room. Guess I'll have to use more. Yang scared me. He seemingly had no openings, regenerated stance, and made most of my abilities useless. Every other boss has some elemental supernatural ability they seem to use mid-fight. Yang's supernatural ability is these hands, and he is showing them at a rapid pace. When I got to this point, all the energy I had in me was sucked out. I don't want to fight that. He's the ultimate version of I'm you, but better. I left feeling truly defeated. What the hell could I do against that? I came back the next day with a simple answer. Try. And try I did. It took many attempts to even fathom his moves, but slowly a profile of Yang was forming. I started learning the parry times and did massive stance damage. I actively found the openings where he did sweeps and dodged accordingly. I sweeped his legs. But the most important lesson that I learned was that I performed better on mouse and keyboard. It turns out that while I do prefer controllers for most third-person fighting, I just have much more precise movements on a keyboard. Keyboard felt easier to defend on. With defense playing such a vital role in this game, I figured it was worth it to restart my muscle memory by being a little worse now in exchange for having better reactions later. This had skyrocketed my progress in this boss, and I genuinely think I would have been hard stuck for so much longer had I not done this. My dodging, parrying, and counterattacks had all adjusted to the fight, and I had become much better. It was time to finish the game.
Stay with me.
Sifu's lineage is here. Your death.
I have no idea what happened. So, yeah, that's Sifu, or at least my experience with it. This game still has more stuff that I will not be covering because frankly I am rushing this script out, since when I do content creation, it's often a massive burst for a few hours before forgetting about it for about a week, and well, that has not done good for my channel as a whole. Look at that shit. If you enjoy beat 'em ups and want to feel like a skilled warrior living the masculine dream of a one-man army, then this game is for you. I would advise getting it whenever it's on sale though, since despite this game releasing March 28th, 2023, I don't know why, but I had this belief that the game's been out for much longer, but hey, I made the same mistake with Sekiro back when I first played it. Anywho, $40 game good, but cheaper game better. If you found this video somewhat funny, or like laughing at me suck, please do leave a comment or like, as not only does the algorithm like it, but it gives me a rush of dopamine every time someone hits the button. I do plan to make more videos like this since it's pretty fun, so if you're interested in that, please subscribe, would also make me happy. Final plug, I promise, if you happen to be interested in more live performances, I do stream on Kick and Twitch because I do, and I like to. It's not always a game that I'm gonna do a video like this for, narrative walkthrough, whatever. It is always something, and advertising for myself is fun. Anyway, enough with the rant. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.